Are you a fan of the No Dishes podcast? Be sure to check out our Patreon, where you can find exclusive merch and perks, and join the Clean Plate Club, our Facebook group where you can connect with other fans of the No Dishes podcast, share your favorite moments from the most recent episodes, and submit questions for upcoming guests. Season 4 of the No Dishes podcast is brought to you by VisitBloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurants and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at visitbloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town.
Hey, say, honey, let's go out to eat. Relieve our culinary duties. With all these restaurants to sweep us off our feet, they're bound to turn us into foodies. No dishes, no dishes, no dishes. We'll have a bottle of wine, relax and have a good time. No dishes, no dishes.
All right, so this week in our No Dishes side dish episode, we're featuring another person who's played a role behind the scenes, Caleb. Thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So our main host, hostess with the mostest, Jordan Davis, he's out of the country this week, so he's given me the reins and the hot seat to have a little interview with you so we could get to know more about you, what you do for the podcast, and just in life in general. Why don't you fill us in first on what some of the things people may have seen you've had your hand on, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I've been doing some of the short form content for No Dishes, which pretty much means I'm just going through the episodes and looking for those like minute long to like 15-second clips where I can highlight some like really good moments from them and just posting those like TikTok, Instagram Reels, that kind of thing.
All the most memorable moments that might be shareable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
go viral or something.
Yeah. Like when they rank their French toast, waffles, and pancakes.
Oh, yeah. I guess we're going to have to get your...
I know. I was thinking about that on the way here. I was like, okay.
Preparing for it.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget to have you rank that there towards the end of the show. So when it comes to like TikToks, Instagram Reels, video editing, and things like that, tell me a little bit about, how did you get into that? And obviously, like, this wasn't the first time and place where you've kind of had a hand in that. So walk me through maybe how you got your interest in it and then some of the other things you've done.
Yeah. I mean, the very beginning would have been like years and years and years ago when like Vine came out. And that was sort of the original like video short form content. And I had Vine and I made a few, but it was just encapsulated like my whole generation for a sec there, and then it went away, and there really wasn't anything there after that up until like TikTok came out. And around the time that TikTok had came out, I was just like messing around one day and decided to like have my friend record me doing like a freestyle walking down Kirkwood, and I was just like, okay, cool, like random video idea. And someone from Pizza X saw that and reached out to me and was like, yo, would you be interested in doing this kind of like video type stuff for us? And I really had like no idea like what that had meant or what that would mean. And I don't even think I had TikTok on my phone at that time, but I downloaded it, checked it out, and I was like, this seems like a really cool and like creative opportunity. So that's what kind of got me into it. And since then, I've just been like steadily doing content kind of stuff for like 2 or 3 years now.
So I'm not familiar with some of the work you did with Pizza X. Was it all like music based, hip hop based? Were you doing like freestyles about pizza? Like what kind of content were you making for them,
Yeah, no, I really had no idea what to do when they first asked me to do it. But I was like, okay, I just like wanted to make something relatable, and so I would try and just come up with like things things that like everyone has experienced and then try and relate it to pizza in some way. So some like the original ones I was doing was like, oh, when you see the delivery driver pull up to your house, and then just like film a reaction to that. But yeah, most of it was just like really like small acting and then throw like a funny sound on there or something.
Did you like loop in all your friends to like star in them for you, or was it just you?
Yeah, it was like a couple of times I would get my friends in on them because they would hook me up with these coupons, and so I would just be like, yo, I got free pizza for whoever would jump in this video, and people always would be down for that.
That's a good form of payment, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Especially when you're a hungry, young student, or
yeah,
just
in college, that's like arguably worth more than money. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So you ate a lot of Pizza X then. Any like favorite toppings or combinations, or like?
Definitely. Like the Eve's Garden is my absolute favorite. It's just got so many vegetables on it, but it still tastes so good. Yeah.
Eve's Garden?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've had that one. Is it just like all sorts of different kinds, or is it like certain selection?
Yeah, I can't remember what's specifically on it, but I'm pretty sure broccoli is on there, and I really like broccoli on pizza.
Yeah, man. Broccoli. It's a hidden hero in the vegetable world.
I agree. It's always sold out at Kroger, so I'm not the only one that thinks so.
Yeah. So any like big moments for you when you were kind of first getting your start with Pizza X? I having my own, experiences in like posting videos online and things like that. When they get traction, when they get views, shares, likes, comments, whatever it is, you get really hyped on it. Was there any like moment on a particular video or series of videos that like?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Like TikTok is kind of crazy in that way, is that it's the first platform that is really trying to like blow people up. And if you're a creative, then it seems like you have, like every opportunity, like any video could do it. And I had like one that I made at the chocolate mousse on my personal account, got like 1 million plays. And I remember that was when I was first like, oh, okay, this is like actually something that could take off. And when I was doing it for Pizza X, I remember like I had gotten one that had like 600,000 views, and it was like an Indiana based like thing. I think I was talking about like how people in Indiana will wear like shorts out when it's 40 degrees because it's like warm to Hoosiers.
I'm wearing shorts right now.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, it's about 40 degrees.
Is exactly right. So that blew up, and then that was like the perfect thing to leap from, because everyone in Indiana that saw that and recognized Pizza X followed, and we got like a few hundred like really solid followers, and like we're able to build a community off of that.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
So Pizza X is where it kind of began, I guess, with working with local businesses, maybe outside of like your own personal thing that you were doing online.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the chocolate mousse. Have there been other opportunities that have grown from that, working with Pizza X with other business? Obviously, you're doing No Dishes.
Right.
That's how Jordan and you know each other. You've done stuff with chocolate mousse, but any other one you want to highlight?
Yeah, I just started doing chocolate mousse, as you said, and that's been really fun. It's like a completely different like way of making content that I've been doing for them. And I just started doing some social media work for the Eiffel Gallery downtown. That's just like more of like a volunteer kind of thing though. And really anywhere I can like try and take that skill and help out with like my friends or anything like that, I try to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great that you're working with like a local art collective co-op. Is it are you kind of like featuring the artists or maybe some of the events that they're having? What kind of things are you making for them?
Yeah.
I know it's kind of new still, so maybe there's stuff in the works.
So far I've just been like sort of posting what they've been giving me, and we're still sort of figuring out what sort of the goals are for the account. And so going off of that, but I expect it'll be a lot of video content. That's what like every app now is trying to push. So that seems like where it's at.
Absolutely, man. I hear that. Everyone wants video right now.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to know how to do and to do well. Apparently you're having some success. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And we really appreciate what you're doing with the No Dishes stuff. I've seen
fun.
A couple of the posts really kind of just speedballing and getting out there, and it's fun to see people interacting with them. Other than, just kind of like marketing or viral marketing, social media stuff, seems like you might be more of like a creative minded person.
Mm-hmm.
Video editing takes some ingenuity, thinking of like original things or funny tropes to make fun of. I should have listened to some before I came here, but I heard that you might make some music. Anything in the music realm that you've been working on for a while or that's new? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I started making music probably when I was like 15 or 16, and 100% was just like creative outlet. I would just like write lyrics about stuff that was like reflective of how I felt or things that were happening in my life, and so that was it was really therapeutic, and I love performing. That's kind of like my favorite part of it. And so from there, made a few EPs over the years, and around somewhere in 2020, like COVID made it really hard for me to make music because I had gone from a place where I was just, instead of making it in my bedroom on like my like $50 mic, I was like, trying to get studio time with people and like talking to producers and bringing other instruments and other artists in on stuff. And it became like exclusively like collaborative for me to get music done. And then with COVID happening, it made it really hard, but I was still able to like put out a couple of things, but I just realized it was like really taxing on me, like energy wise. And so I decided to sort of shift my artistic focus to more like studio art and more digital and graphic design work, just because I was like, it's like trapped inside for so long that all there really was to do is to like develop a skill that I could always just like pick up at a moment's notice and not have to like rely on anyone else to do. And so since then, that's been my primary focus, but it's been nice to sort of take that outward pressure on my music off and be able to just record and do me in that sense. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. I hear that with the whole, kind of like going inward for COVID and, you're amping your skills up in like graphic design and that sort of thing. I personally, as a video producer, rely on, just like you, collaborating, going out, working with different people. And I was shut in. So I said, hey, let's learn more about After Effects and motion graphics and, how can we still make videos and animations and things that kind of explain things, tell stories without necessarily having to go on location with a crew, with actors, or talking to people in interviews and that sort of thing. Right. But it's great to come back out now and like have conversations with people, right?
100%.
So is there anything new in the works as far as your music go that, I don't want to put you on the spot if there really isn't, but things that people should be like either new that has already come out or like on the horizon that you're working towards?
Yeah, I mean, me and my friends, we kind of have like a little group, like a collective almost. We call ourselves Hungry Dogs Run Faster, and we just started sort of laying the groundwork to come out with some music under that banner, and so I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, you can stay tapped in. We have an Instagram if anyone wants to go follow that.
Tell me a little bit about the people you're working with in that group.
Yeah.
How many people? How do you know them? Like, what are their names if you want to share?
Sure.
That?
Yeah. So we've got one of my best friends. His name is Peyton Womack. He's a saxophone player, and he's also a vocalist. But he's a performer. He's in multiple bands, and he has his own band that I step in from time to time with. And my other friend, his name is Winton Gage. He's in Jacobs. He's a vocalist. He's the like frontman for Funk Almighty here in Bloomington, and he's a great performer as well. And then other than that, it'll just be like people that we bring in and want to like feature on stuff. Like it's not super like rigid. Like I feel like anyone can be a Hungry Dog. You know what I mean? Like if you do a photo shoot with us or work with us in any sort of creative way, I feel like you kind of fall into that banner too.
Kind of just like I hate to say like a lifestyle brand, but it's more than just the music. It's a collective.
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of different creative outlets to pursue individually, as a group, collaboratively. So
yeah,
that's the new project. We didn't hear the name of what people might be able to find you as for your previous work, your independent or solo work.
Yeah.
You want to drop a name or a tag?
Yeah, you can look up Kid Retro on streaming platforms. I still have a couple songs out. I deleted a bunch of them. I wanted to, create a sort of like scarcity with my stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you got to listen to it while it's there, because I might not like it in a few days and delete it.
So is there anywhere that people could, like, what am I trying to say? Your socials or anything that you release under that name still, or is it all now Hungry Dogs?
No, yeah, I also have some music on there as well. All of my stuff is like on my website too, and my website is Clebebebe, which is probably.
You want to spell that out?
Yeah. I don't even know if I can without writing it down, but it's like CLEBEBEBE.com.
All right, we'll check that, and we'll make sure it gets somewhere in the line.
Right. Yeah. But I've got all my art stuff and music stuff up there.
So speaking of the website and more than just the music, you mentioned graphic design and other designs. Is there physical artwork or visual artwork that you sell on that site as well?
I don't sell anything on the website right now. Doing the online shop thing was kind of like, I tried that at first, and then I was like, I don't really have enough money to like get an inventory going, and just doing like, I have done orders before, and like I sold shirts on my website, but doing them like, I forget what the term is, where it's like someone orders it and you make it. It's like by order or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, that's okay, but not necessarily how I want to do it. So I've more so turned it into sort of a place where you can just see my different collections and get in contact with me and just like get news. Yeah.
You mentioned also you love performing, playing live in front of people. Is that going to be an aspect to the Hungry Dog, an event or a live show that you might be working towards, or who knows
definitely.
At this point?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this summer, we're going to try and get it popping. Both Winton and Peyton are moving to LA at the end of the summer. So for our live shows to happen here, it's kind of got to happen soon. So,
yeah. So what's your role in the music production with these guys? You mentioned before writing, lyrics, maybe making some instrumentals on your own. I'm assuming that's like digital sequencing and stuff, but that sounds like you have some live performers, like musicians, vocalists, that sort of thing. So how do you guys work together? What's your role?
I rap and I sing. That's my two strong suits. And if I don't have like a place somewhere, then I'll just find one. So I'll just start, taking pictures or taking videos for things, and just sort of like always trying to find a way to be helpful to everybody else. Yeah.
And that's the one thing I love about a creative environment with working with other creative folks, collaborating is, you've got your strengths, but sometimes you get pulled into something that's out in left field, and it's a lot of fun. It's a new challenge.
Yeah.
You can discover something about yourself you never knew.
Right.
So that's really cool, man.
Introducing Constellation Stage and Screen, Bloomington's newest professional theater and film company. On stage next, Constellation presents Death Trap this January and February at the Ted Jones Playhouse, now extended through February 19th due to high demand. Holding the record for the longest-running comedic thriller on Broadway, Death Trap is filled with twists and turns in a series of shocking events that'll keep you on the edge of your seat until the very last moment. See Death Trap on stage January 26th through February 19th in downtown Bloomington. Find tickets at constellation.org. Did you know the Chocolate Mousse has a second Bloomington location? Located next to Buffalo's on Indiana Avenue, not only can you find our famous homemade ice cream, but we also have a full coffee menu featuring locally roasted Brown County coffee and delicious vegan and gluten-free treats from our friends at Rainbow Bakery. Skip the line and order ahead at moosebtown.com 7 days a week. Open early at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. It's the perfect early morning stop, midday pick-me-up, or late night snack.
We've covered a lot of what I'm really interested to learn more. I know you and I have just only started working together. We've had a few interactions just getting season 4 of the podcast off the ground. But tell me a little bit. Let's go back in time. Like, where are you from? Like what brought you to Bloomington? Have you ever worked in the food industry? Those kind of standard no dishes questions.
Oh yeah. I'm from Bloomington. So cool. Born and raised Hoosier. And yeah, I've worked in the food industry since like my first job, really. I've had a couple outside of it, but my first job was at Avers, and like the East Side one, and I was a host. and it would like let me have as much pizza and like their salad bar as I wanted, and it was just that was perfect setup for me.
So that's the
Yeah.
one that's now the public house, or was it called the public house when you were there?
No, it wasn't. I don't know what that means. I haven't been in there.
So
for-
I think there is only one at Avers on the east side.
right,
It's right next to the movie theater.
exactly.
Yeah. So I haven't been there, but I feel like over COVID they like relaunched it in some way.
They did. I don't know what
Yeah.
what it means to be a public house.
I don't know either.
I think they do beer. I don't know though.
They've always done beer though. They
Yeah,
did a
I
pizza
remember they did
buffet, a
beer,
salad
right.
bar, like all that kind of stuff. So.
But yeah.
It was that location though that you worked. That was your first job, you said?
And
Awesome.
then I had a couple other jobs since then, but or after that. Then probably the next food one I did was Five Guys,
Mhm.
which I know you like.
It's right next door, right?
Yeah. I was like, I was clearly on the east side a lot. But yeah, I didn't like that one very much.
Yeah.
But I really liked my coworkers
Mhm.
and it was really clean. It's like the two good things I could say about that job.
Yeah. Well, there's always like peanut shells on the floor. You got to sweep them up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the least clean, but like they had a scrub in that place like every single night. So
Yeah.
I do respect that a little bit.
Heck yeah.
Um
So you grew up in Bloomington.
Mhm.
I feel like every time I tell someone that I'm from Bloomington, the first question they have to ask me is north or south.
yeah, that is
Like,
a super
why?
common question. I went to North.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So did I.
Nice.
Awesome, man. Although I went right like the year after I graduated, they did all the massive renovations. So
Oh, really?
the school that you know as
Mhm.
North is like totally different from what the school was when I went there.
Yeah.
Like there was like a courtyard in the front, and now it's like that big like
Oh, really?
solarium atrium
Mhm.
thing.
Right.
And all sorts of other things. I haven't really been in there since I graduated, so I don't know all the things
Yeah.
they did, but
I was just there recently for a swim team, like 50-year, because it's their 50th year of North, I think, or the swim team. And they just redid the swim pool, and it's really nice. Yeah.
were you a swimmer? And
Yeah.
okay, cool. Any accolades or any like
No
special moments?
records,
Yeah.
but it was amazing. I loved all my teammates. I'm still friends with like almost all of them today.
Nice.
Yeah.
So did you go directly from high school into going to school here at IU, or did you take some time off?
Yeah, I just went straight into it. Felt like that was the best decision, like, and the only one that I could afford. So that's how it went.
Straight in.
Yeah.
And so I think you had mentioned previously, just in passing, that you had studied some, was it poli science, political science? Was that initially what you had gone in for, or are you kind of still trying to figure that out and you kind of
Yeah.
found your way that way?
I was really active, sort of politically and just like locally in general in high school. I just had like a really loud voice, and I've always followed politics and really, really cared about it. And so it just seemed like a natural fit for me to do it at IU.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me what drives a young person into political science. What is it that you're passionate about? What intrigues you about it? What have you like pursued as like a knowledge set to like get more deep into and understand better? Yeah.
In high school, there were just like a few like events that sort of introduced me to, just like the concept of like what it means to like protest something and like go against something. In 2018, there was March for Our Lives, and that was really big. The student group came together, and we had organized this thing to go to DC for it, and that was all just like really inspiring to see that people coming together. And I think coming out of high school, I just sort of I realized that I wanted to just be more knowledgeable of sort of the things that how this country works, and think about how I wanted to change it. And so the biggest thing for me is just like the inequalities in their country. A lot of them are like financial at its heart, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And so that's really what drives me for changing that type of stuff.
Unearthing those truths and not just to know them though, but to try to put some action into play.
Yeah,
Sounds
exactly.
like. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's really cool, man. I'm gonna keep digging at you and learn more about that as you and I work more about on the podcast together. And I want to learn from you. You know, I think there's a lot of things that you have in your school and in the classes and just in your interest and passion for it. Probably know way more than I do. So I am definitely very, very novice when it comes to politics and that sort of thing. So anything you want to share on that front with in the food podcast of No Dishes?
Yeah, I know. I was trying to think. I was like, let me not talk about tearing down capitalism.
Yeah,
right. Honestly,
support local, right?
Definitely. There is a mayoral election coming up, so everybody should take their time to look at those different candidates and their policies and see which ones align with your beliefs.
I'm curious if there's like a small ember of fire in you to maybe someday run for public office.
Maybe. I used to want to, but God, it's so dirty. Like I almost would rather just be like a strategist or something. You know what I mean? Or like a campaign manager. I always feel like if you have like a goal to run, I don't know. Sometimes maybe it feels like your heart isn't in the right place. It sometimes feels like that's something that should like come to you rather than you should chase it. But I don't know. I think other times, like sometimes people just know like they got to take a charge and do it. So it can go either way.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate you opening the door a little bit into that side of who you are and what drives you. So how do you connect the dots then? I mean, music, graphics, video production, making TikToks and viral content and policy and politics.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea how it all connects, but I've always just like sort of resented feeling like I needed to not necessarily like limit myself, but be like, okay, I need to like pick one thing and like become like an expert at that thing and devote the rest of my life to that thing. I just think there's so much more to see and to experience. And I feel like at the end of my journey, like all of these things will coalesce into something important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So true. And it may at some point do that and then, you know, reform into a new part of a new chapter in the journey and you know, send you on a roundabout to a new, what do you say? Coalescence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of coalescence, I know we need to know pancakes.
Oh yeah.
Waffles and French toast. Which would you rank from favorite to least or best to worst?
I would say best to worst for me is going to be waffles number 1, French toast number 2, and then pancakes number 3.
Okay. Tell me about the waffles making a charge at number 1. I think that if I recall, Jordan says usually they're number 2, but I kind of think personally myself, they're my number 1.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think like it's like the people's food. Like you can't put French toast in a toaster in the morning and like get it a couple minutes later and just go and hit out the door. But like that was like a good part of my childhood. So like I was like a special place for waffles for that. And they also are great for like making a sandwich with them.
Okay, nice.
And
what kind of a sandwich would you make with a waffle?
It's like a breakfast sandwich, you know what I mean? Like it's a good substitute for buns in that case. And
so like just egg strong. And like some like sausage patty or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Some cheese probably.
Some cheese, of course.
Yeah.
Gotta have the cheese.
And then waffles and chicken. Yeah, I really like that combo too.
Yeah. Is there anywhere in town or maybe not in Bloomington in the surrounding area that you like to go for that dish? Or do you just make it at home?
Yeah. I haven't had it in so long.
Yeah.
I was confident, or not necessarily confident, but I was really hoping Joella's was about to steal the show with their waffles and chicken because I had Joella's in Lexington and I had their waffles and chicken there and it was phenomenal. But unfortunately, the one here is not hitting for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bloomington, open your ears. We have a need to fill.
Yeah. If anyone wants to open one of the waffles, I'll be your first customer.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's a winning combination. It seems like it should just, be a home run wherever it goes. So we'll be on the lookout for that. French toast second, pancake. So let's go to pancakes as last.
Right.
Seems like a common last place for a lot of folks. What's your personal reason why you put that last?
I don't know. I never it was never a part of like my breakfast as a kid.
Yeah.
And then it was literally just the other day I realized that it was just like 2 ingredients. Because I was just looking, I had pancake mix in my thing, and I was like, I could just make this with water. Like, I didn't know that. And then, it was just like never in my wheelhouse or my radar.
Yeah. I have to agree, man. Pancakes just seem just like they're there if you need them,
Yeah.
But it's not high on the list for like a go-to situation.
Right.
Yeah, man. Well, was there anything else, I guess, as far as like what you do for us here on the podcast or your creative outlets or, who you are, where you've been, you wanted to share with us today?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Well, I appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us in the latest episode of the No Dishes podcast. Do you like what you heard? Be sure to write a review, rate us, subscribe, like, whatever it is that you do to show your support. We really appreciate it. Until next time, be sure to keep those hands dry. This episode of the No Dishes podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Garrett Portinga of Green Hat Media in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana.
No dishes.
Season 4 of the No Dishes podcast is brought to you by VisitBloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurants and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at visitbloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town.
No Dishes Media.
No Dishes Media.